Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this Luna inspired character. Her head to her body is basically no sew. We're going to start with the arms. We'll do her head and then attach the arms when we go down into the body, and then we'll move on into the legs and the shoes all in one piece. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you. If you get lost or don't understand something I'm doing, there will be a little drop down with instructions for the first 15 seconds of every row. I'll also be putting the writing in the color that you should be using. But I will be putting in some previously recorded video using this doll. And so for the arms, I'll be putting in the Harry Potter arm, which you will do skin color, and then when I change to the gray in the video, you will stick with the same skin color you're doing, and I will try and put a note up there to remind you. And then we will do the full head, and when we get to row 19, I will come in and I will do row 19 attaching the arms with you. And then because this is black and I don't see any benefit in trying to show you how to do the pattern in black, I will come back in with the brown again on row 20, and we will go down to row, I believe, 28. And then I will do the skirt in black. Hopefully it's not too hard to see, but it's fairly simple. And then I will do the whole bottom and at least one leg with you, and the color change in the blue and the burgundy for the shoes. This is probably going to be two parts. We'll do the full doll body and in part one, and then whatever I decide needs to go in part two. Maybe the hair, the glasses, and the jacket. There will be a link down in the description that you can follow to continue, as well as links for all these guys. And just a reminder, if you like my videos, hit the subscribe button, and you will be notified every time I load a new video. And you can also leave me a like or a comment. I think that's it. That's long enough. So let's get started. Okay, so for the arm, you're going to pick whatever color you're using as a skin color, and you're just going to make a knot with a loop on the end. You can also use a magic circle if you prefer to do it that way. And we are just going to put our hook in our loop, grab our yarn, pull up and through, and do one chain, and that is just going to secure our yarn to our loop. It does not count as a stitch. And for round one, we are going to put 6 single crochets into this loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now grab a stitch marker if you are using one. For round 2, we are just going to increase in each stitch around for a total of 12. So you'll be putting 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way around. So 1 and 2 in the first stitch, 3, and 4 in the next stitch, 5 and 6 in the next stitch, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, and in the last stitch, 11 and 12. For rounds 3 to 5, we are just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. And I'm going to be counting consecutively because it'll be 3 rows, 3 times 12. So I'll be doing 36 single crochets and then flipping my stitch marker every time I hit a set of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I'm having a time here. 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that was 1 row. Flip your stitch marker. Now I'm going to keep on counting consecutively. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that's 2 rows. Flip your stitch marker if you're using one and keep on counting. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. I must have counted wrong. 35 and 36. For round 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet and 1 increase or decrease for a total of 8. So 1 and decrease for 2. 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, and decrease for 8. And rows 7 to 14, which are going to be 8 single crochets all the way around, and that's 8 rows. So because I'm not using a row counter, I'm just going to make it 2 sets of 4 rows. This is going to sound confusing, but so I'm going to do 8 times 4 for 32, which is 4 rows, 8 times 4, which is 32, which is another 4 rows, which will equal 8 rows. You can go ahead and do count by rows if you want. I just find this to be easier. So we're going to 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the end of a row. Flip your stitch marker if you're using one, and I'm going to keep counting consecutively. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's another row. Flip your stitch marker. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that's another row finished. Flip your stitch marker. Uh, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. So that was our first set of 4 rows, and we have 4 more rows to go. So I'm going to start counting back at 1 again. You can keep going. What is that? Is it 64 you'll need total? I'm going to go to 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 1 row done. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's our second row. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's our third row, and 1 more row. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, I did this wrong now, 6, 7, and 8. I started counting it in 8s instead. If you're wondering why I don't do 64 and just do them all, it's like how often can you do 64 stitches without being interrupted? So I just split them up into 32s. Okay, now we're going to put a little bit of stuffing in the bottom part into the hand. Probably not too firm, kind of soft and squishy, because people's hands are a little flatter than so I just put like about that much in. When you do your next arm, make sure you keep the stuffing about the same. And then once you have enough stuffing, you're going to fold your piece in half, and you're going to put 3 single crochets across the top, making sure you're in both sides and under both parts of the V. So there's your one V there. Here's your other V here. This is your loop on your hook here. So you want it to look like this. And you're just going to go 3 across and give this a tug if it's loose. That'll help keep your arms less floppy when you attach them. And then you're just going to tie off. In the next frame, there will be a timestamp to bring you back to the beginning to do the second one. If you're on your second one, just keep on watching and skip past that, and we'll move on to the head. To begin, we are just going to make a loop as if we were going to start a chain. So just wrap it around your finger, down and through. We're going to be putting 6 single crochets in there. So make it about just a little bigger than your hook. And we're going to put our hook in the loop, grab yarn, pull through, and just do 1 chain to secure our yarn to our loop. And that does not count as a stitch. So for round 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Grab your stitch marker if you're using one, and I'm just using a piece of thread. And for round 2, we're going to do 6 increases, so that'll be 2 stitches in every stitch around. So first increase, 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Flip your stitch marker, and for round 3 we are going to be doing 1 single crochet and 1 increase for a total of 18, and we'll repeat that all the way around. So 1 increase, 2 and 3, and then repeat that sequence, 4, 5 and 6, 7, increase 8 and 9, 10, increase 11 and 12, 13, increase 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase 17 and 18. For row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, and our increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase for 11 and 12, whoops, 13, 14, and our increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase all the way around, and repeat that for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5. Repeat that over. 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. 16, 17, 18, and an increase for 19 and 20. 21, 22, 23, and 24 and 25. 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, an increase for 29 and 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, and an increase, 35 and 36. Whoops. For round 7, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our increase, 6 and 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase, 13, and 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase, 20, and 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase, 27 and 28. 29, whoops, 30, 31, 32, 33, and our increase, 34 and 35. This should be our last set. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and our increase, 41 and 42. For rows 8 to 14, we are just going to do 42 single crochets all the way around, and that'll be 7 rows. And I will come back and catch you up when we're ready to start row 15. Okay, you should be ready to start row 15, which is going to be 5 single crochets and 1 decrease, and you'll repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll do a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, decrease 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, whoops, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36 is a decrease. Row 16 is going to be 4 single crochets, 1 decrease all the way around for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is a decrease. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is a decrease. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is a decrease. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is a decrease. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is a decrease. 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 is a decrease. Row 17 is going to be 3 single crochets and 1 decrease all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 is a decrease. 5, 6, 7, 8 is a decrease. Oops. 9, 10, 11, 12 is a decrease. 13, 14, 15, and 16 is a decrease. 17, 18, 19, 20 is a decrease. 21, 22, 23, and 24 is a decrease. Row 18 is going to be 2 single crochets and 1 decrease for a total of 18. 1, 2, 3 is a decrease. 4, 5, 6 is a decrease. 7, 8, 9 is a decrease. 10, 11, and 12 is a decrease. 13, 14, 15 is a decrease. 16, 17, and 18 is a decrease. Okay, you should now have your head and your 2 arms finished, and we are ready to attach them. Now, if you have finished off your 18th stitch for your head, we're just going to undo that stitch, and we're going to redo that increase. So 1 increase, but don't finish it. So you have your 3 loops on your hook, and you are ready to attach your black. And just give it a couple of ties. And then pull your black through those 3 loops. I'm just going to tuck my ends in, flip my stitch marker, and we are ready to do row 19. I'm going to do it slow with you, but for instruction's sake, I'm just going to say you're going to do 3 single crochets, 3 single crochets through the arm and the head, 6 single crochets, 3 single crochets through the arm and the head, and then 3 single crochets for a total of 18. So start with your 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to grab your arm, and with the strings facing towards the front, you are going to put a single crochet through the arm, then through the next stitch on the head, and make sure you're going through all 4 strands of those V's, and then just single crochet, and you're going to do 2 more of those. So that's 2 and 3, then you're going to do 6 single crochets across the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then grab your other arm, making sure the strings are facing towards the front. And you're going to do the same thing, go through the arm, and then through the head, and single crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And if you went in all the stitches right, you should have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to switch back to brown and use my previous videos. You're going to stay with black, and you're going to follow until we get to row 28, and then I will come back to do row 29 with you and start the skirt. For round 20, we're going to do 2 single crochets and 1 increase for a total of 24. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and an increase for 15 and 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. For rows 21 to 23, we're going to just do 24 single crochets all the way around. So that'll be 3 rows of 24. One, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whoops, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, and I'm just going to keep counting around till I have 24 times 3, so 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, so that's 2 rows, we got 1 more row, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. And there's our 3 rows of 24. Row 24 is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and increase 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase for 19 and 20, 21, 22, big naughty mess here, 23, and an increase 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our increase 29 and 30. For rows 25 to 28, you are just going to do 30 single crochets all the way around, and then I will meet you back to start row 29A. Okay, we're going to try this in the black, but all I have to do is move it an inch or put my finger in front and you can't see anything. So, let's try this. So to begin, you are going to go in the front loops and you're going to do a slip stitch. Hold on, let me get in there. So a slip stitch into that front loop. And then you are going to do a chain 1. And then we are going to do half double crochets all the way around, and it'll be 30. So for a half double crochet, you yarn over, in through that same stitch you just slip stitched in, grab your yarn, pull up and through, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to grab your yarn and go through all 3 of those loops. So now we are going to do our 30 single or half double crochets. So that's 1, remember, in the front loop only, 2, 3, sorry it's awkward, but my hook is right Like I'm 1 inch from my phone here videoing, so my hooks can't go a certain way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And then you are just going to slip stitch into that behind your first half double crochet. Oops, sorry. And then you're going to chain 1, and in that same stitch you're going to start your next row of half double crochets just the regular way, no more front loops. So now you are going to do row 29, B, C, and D. So that's 3 more rows of these half double crochets, and then you're going to tie off, and I will join you back, and we will do the little colors in her dress. So you'll need, I used blue, yellow, and pink in the brightest kind of colors I had. Okay, if you haven't already, weave your end in for your skirt so that that is out of your way, and then take your arm strings and just wrap them around your arm so we can get rid of them as well. Then you're just going to grab one of whatever 3 colors you chose to make the little specks. And you're going to start up on the top side of her skirt somewhere. Leave a little bit of a tail there for tying later. Hopefully you can keep that out of your way. And you're just going to go 1 stitch over in any direction. I like up and down and then a bit to the left or right instead of across, but they can be as random as you want. And then you'll come down into the skirt and make your spots. And then that way, when you are finished. You won't have any of your ties on the back of the skirt that you'll see. They'll all be hidden up in her body where you stuffed, where you'll be stuffing her. All right, so just remember as you're doing this that you are going to have to make room for 2 other colors. So on the skirt, I just kind of went up and down randomly. If I can get in there. I got a ways to go. So once you get all around, move up and then go around on her, and then repeat that for the 3 colors. And this is what mine ended up looking like. And then all my ties were on the inside. Okay, so do that, and then we will come back and we will start in these back loops to do the legs. Okay, now grab your blue and you are going to make a knot with a loop on the end so we can attach our blue. And you're going to find your first back loop. Now if your stitch marker is in the same place as mine, you're going to go right above that stitch marker. That was your last stitch, so this will be your first stitch. The main goal is to have 30 single crochets all the way around. So chain 1. And then you're going to single crochet in that same stitch, and we are going to do 30 single crochets in the back loop all the way around for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going to come upon probably a few places where you went over your back loops with your colors. Just try and be careful to make sure you don't miss any stitches along the way. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, can't tell if that's the same stitch or not, I think so. I've split the one back loop here, so I was trying to get underneath both, but I guess I'll just go under that little piece. There we go. I gotta recount what I was doing. So I have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And then you're going to flip your stitch marker. Your next stitch will be going right in there behind your first single crochet. For rows 31 and 32, you are going to just do 30 single crochets all the way around. So if you did make a mistake, correct it here and do an increase or a decrease. Somewhere, like this is the back still, so somewhere over in here, do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, which brought me back to my stitch marker. And that was row 1, so we'll do the other row of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30. And now for row 33, we are going to do 3 single crochets and 1 decrease for a total of 24. One, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, decrease 8, 9, 10, 11, and decrease 12, 13, 14, 15, and decrease 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and decrease for 24. All right, before we start on the legs, we better get some stuffing in here and eyeballs if you're using safety eyes. So we want to have it fairly firm in there. Feels like a long ways today for some reason. There we go. I've had a few people ask me why I stuff it first and then have to take it back out. It's purely so I can visually see the placement and be happy with it. You could do it without stuffing, but then if you get down to the end and close it up and find out that your eyes are on crooked or sideways or too far to one side or the other, you're not going to be happy with your project. Okay, so first I'm going to find the center. So if you use these 6 single crochets that you made when you attach the arms, that's an easy way to find your center. So here's your arm. You got single crochet on each side, and each side, and that's your center right there. So you're just going to come up a bit. Now I put a pin in there, and then I count down. They're going to go between rows 11 and 12. So we're going to count down to row 11, starting with your ring where you made your first loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I happen to put it in exactly the right spot because they're going to go between 11 and 12. And then we are going to go 3 holes over from center. So 1, 2, and then in the third one, we're going to put that eyeball in. It doesn't have to be here. It all depends on what look you're going for. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, and then in that third hole there, if it's tight, try and screw them in. Or you can always use this thicker end of your darning needle and go in and out a few times. And I think that looks pretty centered, and how I want it on the face, kind of in the middle. So now I do have to take my stuffing out a little bit and then put my ends in, my backs on. Well, maybe I'll take it all out just to make it a little easier. And then you're just going to put your back on. Listen for the clicks. There's one. It's not just clicked on the first one. The first one didn't make a noise. That was the second click. There we go. And then now you can just replace all your stuffing, and we're going to stuff it right down fairly close to the bottom, firm in the head and a little softer in the body, so we have room to work around with the legs. Whoops. Wondering what that white, oh, that must be from the head. Hold it out. You can go back in there. And just make sure, I'm bad with decreases, so like you can see mine are separating a little bit. You don't want that, so if you're starting to get that, don't push your stuffing down in there. Start pushing it in the sides and the back. And I think that's how I want it. So I'll just put a little bit in the body. Okay, you can always add more after you have most of your leg done, before you put the shoe part on. Okay, so now, I think I have too much in there. So now what you want to do to find out where to put the legs is you want to get your body kind of centered and then flat, so you can find the sides evenly on each side. So about like this. And you're going to go where the two sides meet over here. And you're going to start counting from this front stitch. So this is your back, this is your front. And you're going to count over 6 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be your first leg. And now you want to find, tie off your second leg. So you're going to go 1 stitch over, so it'll be your 7th stitch, but your first stitch of your second leg. Leave that in there, and you're going to count 12 stitches all the way around, including this stitch is number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Stick your needle or whatever you're using to mark in that stitch. And then we are just going to tie that and mark it off so we don't go into these stitches on this side when we're doing our first leg. So now we should have 12 stitches on this side and 12 on this side. And just get that out of our way. All right, so grab your hook and get back in where you left off. And now we are going to do 12 single crochets around here. And don't worry if you don't have the same stitches as me. It just all depends where you ended up on your stitch marker. So for me, I have 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're not going in this stitch because that's where we tied off our other leg. Turn. We're not going in this stitch because that's where we tied off our leg. On the other side, we're going to be going in this stitch right here. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that was row 1. Rows 2 to 6 are just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around. So row 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Put your stitch marker. Row 3, another 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 5, 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. and row 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we're just going to leave this because we need to do a color change. I am going to pull mine through just to hold it there, because I'm going to show you a different way to do the legs than I have been if you are a regular viewer. Just because we've made so many of these lately, I'm getting kind of tired of going around this leg stuffed. So we're going to leave that one unstuffed so we can move it around while we're working on this leg. So grab a new chunk of blue and leave a bit of a tail, because we're going to use this to sew the hole closed that's left between the legs. So make your knot with the loop on the end. And then we are going to attach that a stitch or so over from this marker, so that when we are tying the legs together, we haven't started over here and we're pulling the leg all the way over here to try and close that. So in about the first stitch on this side, this is the back side, I'm just going to attach your yarn, bring it through, and then just a chain 1. And starting in that same stitch, we are going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now if you're where I am, you're in your last 2 stitches, so your next stitch will be going in where you marked your second leg, so that's 11. And then you're going to flip it all around, try and get this mess out of your way, and then you're going to put 12. Oops, I want this over here. This is my tail. I don't want to get that confused in there. And then number 12, it will go in where you marked your second stitch, assuming you started in the same place I did. And you can give that a nice tight tug. Take this marker out now, and I'm going to use that as my new stitch marker. Sorry. All right, so that was row 1. We are going to do 5 more rows to match this leg, and then we'll start on the shoes. So starting in your first stitch where you made your chain 1 and your single crochet, that'll be 1. And I'm going to leave you to finish off the rest of this leg. So that'll be rows 2 to 6, 12 single crochets each. Okay, you should be done. Both legs, rows 1 to 6. And if you did finish off your last single crochet, take that out and redo it so you got your 2 loops on the hook for the color change. And we're going to tie on I'm using burgundy. I think her shoes seem kind of purplish, so that's what I went with. And then we can cut off our blue because we are done with that. Whoop. Okay, now we are going to pull that burgundy. Whoops, what a mess, a mess. Through those 2 loops. Tuck all our extra strings inside, out of our way. Flip our stitch marker. I don't know if I can, how to video this. For row 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, an increase, 2 and 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6, 7, and an increase, 9 and 10, 11, and an increase, 12 and 13, 14, and our increase, 15 and 16, 17, and our increase. Oops, what did I do wrong here? Well, this should be 17 and 18. For round 8, you're just going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. I apologize for my awkwardness too. I'm not sure what position to be in here. Okay, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we are going to stuff up the leg here. Depending on how much stuffing you have in here, depends how much stuffing you're going to use in the leg. So you want the leg to be firm so it'll stand, but you don't want to get it too firm in the belly. So you might be putting a little bit up into the tummy and then a little bit more into the leg. And remember, we do have 2 more rows, so you don't want your stuffing to be puffed out so you can't get the rest in. Oh, what's happening? I keep hitting my lights and that hits my phone. Okay. So you want it to be kind of flat here, but firm. You can add a little bit more after the next row, but then it gets a little trickier. Okay, so let's do I feel like I should have just added my old video in here because it's taken me forever. Whatever I'm doing differently with my setup is not working. Okay, so now you're going to go in the back loop and you're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and try your best not to grab any of that stuffing. So I just use my finger really tight against my stitches. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that was 1. Here's your decrease for 2. Three, decrease, 4, 5, decrease, 6, 7, decrease, 8, 9, decrease, 10, 11, and another decrease for 12. Like, it just took me 5 minutes to go around this. Okay, for our last row of the shoe, you're just going to do, so this is row 10, you're going to do 6 decreases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're just going to do a slip stitch to attach that and tie it off. Leave a little bit of a tail because you're going to use that to come up and through and pull this leg flat or shoe. Probably don't need that much though. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to take my stitch marker out. This is your last chance to add any stuffing if you think you need to. And you're just going to weave this in and out. I've been going in the top loops lately. I don't know if it makes a difference. But because I've been making all my patterns close at the bottom, it really doesn't matter because you don't really see this unless someone's inspecting your work. Okay. And give that a little tie somewhere. And then you're just going to pull it down the center and then out the back fairly close to where the legs joined. And then if you see, when you pull on that later to tie the two together, you'll just pull that tight so you flatten that down, and it helps him to stand up. Okay, so I am going to let you guys finish his foot on your own. If you need any instruction, I am going to put a little screenshot in the next frame with the 4 rows for his foot. And then if you want to tie it off and bring the string out, and then I will join you to get all these ends together and fill in this hole between his legs, or her legs, sorry. Okay, so if you haven't already, pull your strings down and tight so you are going to have flat feet, and you're going to want to tie them nice and tight. Just be careful that you don't break your yarn. And then we will tie them, or weave them kind of out back to another spot and hide them. Making sure you go through the same hole that you just brought them all out. Somewhere up here. And then we'll take our blue here. And you're going to find, so these 2 stitches are where this leg started and this leg started, and same width on this side. So you want to go in and out evenly, kind of. So you want to go this way through this way, and then on the opposite side you're going to go up on the other stitches and just mirror that. And then just do that a couple of times, trying to stay in those same 4 stitches. Most importantly, make sure when you're going back through, you're going in a stitch over so that you're not just undoing what you just did. And then you're just going to tie a little knot. Just catch a piece down there and tie a knot. You can tie it again if you want. I'm just going to do once, I think. And then also you're going to hide that up and through somewhere. And pull that knot so that it's hidden. And cut your strings. And now we can finally let her dress down and undo our arms. And we are going to just take each side, put it down in approximately the same stitch that, so this is where it was stitched on, you can tell. So just put it either up or down right close to that stitch, and then thread it out back through the center. And then you're going to do the same with the other arm. And you're going to put that in the same stitch. See, there's that black, and out to this where you came out with the other one. And then you're just going to pull those strings nice and tight to pop that knot in if you can. So that one, you can see that one really good. Turn her over. And then just give them a tie, fairly tight, but not so tight that you're bringing them in too far. You can always look at her while you do it. I guess she doesn't have to be upside down. So if you're happy with where they are, give it a proper tie. And then you're just going to thread them out somewhere on the other side of her. I think I'm going to go up in her head this time, since I've got white or beige. Let's go up in there and out. Give it a little bit of a pull and a cut. Okay, so we're this far, and I think I am going to put the hair into this video. It's almost 2 hours long already. I just can't seem to stay under that 2 hours. So you're going to start in your yellow, of course. Make your knot with your loop on the end. And you're going to pull your yarn through, chain 1 to attach it to your loop, and you're going to do 6 single crochets into this loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Add your stitch marker if you are using one. And for row 2, we are just going to do 6 increases all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 and 2 for an increase. Increase again, 3 and 4. Increase again, 5 and 6. Increase again, 7 and 8. Increase again, 9 and 10. And increase one more time, 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and increase, 17 and 18. Row 4 is going to be 2 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 24. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets and an increase for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets and 1 increase for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, and our increase, whoops, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for our increase. Oh no, I thought we were doing 5s there for a second. So it's 9, 10, and our increase, 11 and 12, because we're on increases of 6. 13, 14, 15, 16, and our increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our increase, 35 and 36. And for row 7, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 42 stitches. So 1, 2, oh, why my yarn is sticking to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and increase 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and our increase 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and our increase 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, increase 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and our last increase 41 and 42. And then you're just going to slip stitch, and then you can just tie that off, leaving yourself quite a bit of I just pull it out at arm's length. It's going to be more than you need, but at least you won't run out. And then we'll give that a cut. Okay, for the strands of hair, what I use is just a book, and my book is 9 inches long, or high, I guess, and then this is 1 inch down this way. So I've got 10 inches halfway and 20 inches all the way around, which will work, but so I can't see. I put my part kind of over to the side and twisted it, so it's great length for the hairs that are on this side, but the hairs that come around and go down her head and over, this is where they end. So you may want to make longer hairs, especially if you're just doing one and you just want to have one. Do a little nicer job maybe. So to make the hairs like that, you're going to, and I apologize how much you're going to be able to see here. So you're going to wrap it all the way around. So that's 1. Wrap it around again. That's 2. And I believe I did about 40 or 50. And then if I needed more, I just made a few more at a time. And then you're just going to cut your end. And you'll have a bunch here. You'll just go down and across and cut those. And to add them to your hair, or your hair cap, you're just going to come down in a row and then up another row. And then at about halfway on your hair strand, you're going to grab it, pull it through, bring it up just a little bit, and then you're going to pull those strands through that loop. It is easier than I'm making it look. A lot easier. And then give it a little pull and tighten that down. And what I did was I did 2 rows from the top down for a part. And then I went around every row about every second stitch, and then when I got to the next row I tried to alternate it. Oh, here, let me show you. So if this was one strand in a row and this was your next strand in a row, then when I went and did the other row, and it didn't work all the time, it should have, I would try and put that next row strand down here, and then they were just kind of filled a little bit more. So just go find a relaxing spot, your favorite maybe drink or snack, and put on a movie maybe, and just chill and start wrapping all your hair into your hair cap. And then I will come back when it's time to sew it on. Okay, you should have a big kind of mop of hair now. Where is my front? So find your seam, or, oh my goodness, I can't remember what that's called. Find your part. And you're going to place it on her head. Decide where you want the part. So for the one I made here, I had her part kind of like this, so I could get this floofy bit of bang to kind of curl around and over. And then I just lined up kind of with the set of stitches going around wherever I wanted the front of her hair to go to. And then you're just going to pin that. You're going to go down one, yeah. So I want to be going in this row when I'm sewing it on. So I'm going to put a couple of pins right even with that row. And then I'm going to put a couple in the back. And I'm not going to worry about this because it's going to be covered with hair. And then just kind of space them evenly around the sides so it's secure enough for when you sew it on. Okay, and you're going to find your end. And I'm not going to do this with you, but I'm just going to give you a couple of stitches if you need a tip. Oh wow, I cut this really long. That's going to be fun to sew in and out. So, you probably heard me say this a million times if you've done a few of my videos, but we're just going to go in and out underneath the hair so that you don't see the stitches. Just back and forth. I'm going to go through every stitch, so grab under the hair, and then go up through a stitch. And just continue that all the way around, down through the next stitch, down through the head, grab a little chunk of her head, and then go back up through the next stitch in her hair. Okay. So I'll leave you guys to that, and I'll see you back once that's on. And don't cut this because we're going to use it for her eyebrows. Okay, once you've got everything sewn on there, you are just going to take a little piece somewhere. I'm going to take here, and you're just going to tie a knot. once or twice, depending on how you feel about it. And then you're going to come in where you tied that knot so you can pull that into her head. And I've already pinned where I want her eyebrows to go. So I'm 1 stitch up from just inside her eye, and then I'm going along the top of her eye here. I should be using my needle here. Hole and then pin. So I'm going to come up here, up over to here, down under to here, and then back in there. Okay, so let's, oh, where's my, there it is. So you're going to come up, watch that you got all this hair out of the way. Make sure that knot gets pulled in. And then go over to your next pin. And then come up on the other one that's mirrored what you just did. And then you're going to go down into this pin. And then you're going to come out back through her head. Somewhere up by her hairline or in her hair. I'm just going to try and come right back where I was. And don't pull that too tight because you don't want her eyebrows to like tighten up and be really small, or to stretch these stitches. Like that one is a little bit. And then you're just going to tie it to secure that, and then you'll weave your end inside of her somewhere. And just hide that knot as you do that if you can. And give it a cut. Hang on to this if you have extra, because we'll use that to tie her little side pony there. Okay. Grab a small piece of whatever color you used as a skin color. And leaving a little bit on this side. You are just going to come in. And you're going to go up where her nose hole is. And all I did was I guess I should have said, I went down a row and then over. So I'm just a little inside the eyes on both sides. So now you're going to come up here through your one pin. Leaving a little bit on the bottom so you can tie that and put it through. And then you're going to go in your other pin, and you're just going to go back and forth a couple of times, whatever you feel looks kind of nose-like. I'm not good at faces, but this seems to be working in the last week or two that I started doing these guys. So that's 3 times, and then putting it back in again makes it 4. And I am going to come back out now where I started. And then I'm just going to give that a little tie, not too tight, because you don't want to mess up what you did here. And then we'll hide that back inside the head. Don't pull it too tight unless you're holding on to the nose or something. I can't tell which string I want. There we go. I'll cut that off. For the mouth, I just went down, I skipped a row and went down to the next row and pretty much stayed even with her nose. You can make her nose or her mouth a little longer if you want. And I originally was using a light rose color on my first set of these I made, but I wasn't quite sure it stood out, so I'm going to be using black this time. So I'm just going to go up through the one pin and then down where you had the other pin and out where you started. Just like the nose, only I'm only doing this one time. So just like that. She might need a bigger mouth. We'll see. We can always change it later. And then give it a nice tie. And hide that. We're almost done this one, so I'm just gonna remind everybody, if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to subscribe, and you will be notified every time I load a new video. You can also leave a like or a comment, and there will be a link down in the description to my Facebook craft page where you can go, and there will be a YouTube post on there for sharing. I can't find her split now. Where is it? Her part. Is that it? I'd love to see your guys' work. And all of these characters will have a link also in my description. If you want to go make any of them, they'll be down in there, as well as anything you see on my table behind in the background. There's a video if you click on my channel and go to that. I almost forgot, we have to sculpt her face a little bit. We don't have to, but I think it adds to the character. So again, grab your skin color. You're going to find your center between these 6 stitches. And I'm going to go over to the middle one. So it'll be the second stitch on each side of the arm we're going to end up going in. And you're going to come up. You're going to go just under the front side of her eye, closer to her nose. Leave some string on the ends here, because you're going to need those to wrap around her neck. And you're going to go over to the other side of her eye, and then you're going to do the exact opposite. You're going to go over to the far side of her eye. Don't do this too tight, just so you can pull this. And then you're going to go to the inside of her eye, and then you're going to go back down to the second stitch from her arm. And then you're going to give that a pull, and that will bring her eyes in a little bit. I like to hold the eyes kind of where I want them and then pull it, and it kind of holds it a little better and doesn't twist them in as much. And then you're going to take one of your ends. I have this side, and you're going to weave them in and out. Watch you don't get through this piece of yarn till you get to the back center. Just in and out through the white or skin part just above the black. Okay, I'm going to make this the center. I don't think it quite is, but it's going to be. Then you're going to take your other string and you're going to go the opposite way. Weaving in and out, careful not to get into this piece of thread or you won't be able to slide it closed like you'll want to. We're basically just going to be cinching the neck in and pulling the face down as we do it. And looks like we made it even into where our center hole is. So if you want, okay, first crisscross these. Okay, so this one's going this way, this one's going this way, and you want them to stay going that way, but tie a knot in them. So tie your knot. I held on to this one, so I knew it would be going that way, and then this one will go the right way. And then you should be able to watch it. Just kind of come in and pull down that face a bit. You may have to manipulate it a bit. And it just kind of gives her a bit of a bump for her nose and brings her eyes in. And then you're just going to give it a couple more ties once you're happy with what you got. Just be careful not to break your strings. And then you're just going to hide that, and I'm going to go up through the head since it's the same color. Hide that knot in there. And then we'll cut that off. We just got to tie her hair up. So grab your, if you had any extra yellow, grab that or cut a piece. Kind of lay it out so it's ready for you. And you're just going to kind of sweep. I did twist her hair up like this. Not like this, but similar. Hiding that part. But once I put her glasses on, it didn't really seem to matter. So I think I'm just going to pull her hair down like this, and then you want it to come over and around just like that. And if you lay that on your yarn, it should be a little easier to get a tie in there. You may have to do this a few times. I'm definitely going to have to, because just the way I'm sitting here and my hands are reaching around here. But you're just going to give it a tie. I can't keep those in there, I don't think. So you give it a tie and then wrap it around if you can. Give it another tie in the back. Now I'm not tying this tight. You might want to give it a couple of ties. It's just because I will be undoing mine and fixing it when I can hang on to it properly. But you want it to look kind of like this. You can puff it up, play with it a little bit. Or you could have just left it down, I suppose. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I see you in another one of my videos. And I will link part 2 down in the bottom in the description. And that will be the glasses and the little pink jacket. I guess I'll see you there. Happy crocheting!